put your phone on D&D. That means that do not disturb when you're driving. And when you're going from point A to B, I need you to stay safe, please, so always sing with me. So put your phone on D&D. That means that do not disturb when you're driving. And when you're going from point A to B, I need you to stay safe, please, so always remember this beat.
Don't drive distracted. A message brought to you by the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration, Project Yellow Light, and the Ad Council.
Back to the balloon party with Tim McKernan live from the Car Shield studio on 101 ESPN.
Yes. Yeah, Jackson. You want this one? It doesn't matter if you want it, because I do. I haven't been in the studio for a week, and I've got things I want to share with the people. The people who listen to Balloon Party, presented to you by Munganess, St. Louis Acura, and Munganess, Burkhardt, Alton Toyota. Timothy Michael McKernan, Jackson Bennett, Burkett, and Jackson. This is the one. They're already waiting for us on YouTube, but it's great to see Droid Effects and Dan Jansen and TPS Reports and John Scores and your mom's boyfriend. He says it's good to hear Tim's sexy voice again. It is sexy, isn't it?
I've missed it.
Seriously?
Yeah. It's been a week, and yeah, I've missed it. Good to be back. Good to be home.
Yeah.
You know, feel like back at home.
Amen. Eric Nickens says Tim is glowing.
You are glowing. Yeah,
Maybe I'm pregnant.
You do. You have that sports radio glow on you.
Jackson, we were out of town. Mm-hmm. Well, I had another one of you were kind enough to invite me to your member guest last Friday.
Right. It's like trial by combat. I chose you as my champion.
Thank you. So I had that last Friday, and then my wife and I went to Denver for a concert at Red Rocks, which is a phenomenal.
It's a bucket list item of places.
It truly is.
I really want to go see a show there so badly.
It truly is.
Because it's pretty intimate,
I've heard
right?
Great things. Oh, absolutely.
Yeah. Was it like less than 5,000 probably?
I think 10.
10? Okay. I mean, that's still super intimate for a super famous venue like that.
So we went to a concert on Tuesday night, flew back yesterday, and here I am. And it is wonderful to be back with you. And I know you've prepared. You described it in the commercial break as a smorgasbord of questions on American sport.
That's right, yeah. American sport exclusively, so we won't be touching on the Euros going on right now.
Smoke de Bear official says Stupiracy is fantastic. Thank you. I guess I missed the debut on. We had a preview party, Riz and I, of the Riz Show. Who, any chance I get a chance to say it, I just want to emphasize it again. Because usually when you have the person with the top show in the market.
The big dog.
Well, he sets a tone. It's like when Mark McGuire wasn't happy in the Cardinal clubhouse. And I was in there. I mean, granted, I was an intern there. And you'd walk in and you go, oh, boy, this isn't good. Because it sets a tone. Right. If, like, the guy wearing the C on his sweater isn't really in a good place with the media, then the guys who are, of course, not wearing the C on their sweater, not the main person, then they're not going to be necessarily as affable.
Yeah, gotta set the tone.
So Riz sets the tone as the guy with the biggest show in the market.
That's right.
And he's a great guy. So we got together and we did this show. Hubbard Management put us together to do this show, Stupiracy. And the debut show, I guess it's up on both 105.7 The Point and TMA's YouTube channel and 101 ESPN. I've been included in Instagram stories. Yep. And then some of my Instagram posts of duck lips in the rearview mirror.
Yeah, they're kind of getting lost in translation there with all the Stupiracy stuff.
Stupiracy stuff. It's like, oh, look at me. I'm at Lifetime.
Right.
Oh, I'm shopping for Range Rovers. Should I go white or black? Tinted, matte, what?
Always matte.
Should I?
Yeah.
You know, I know how to manage money. Just get car payments. So
aggressive leases.
That's what I'm doing.
Right.
That's what's on my Instagram, Timothy Michael McKernan. Right. Is my Instagram a gift depot like my Twitter account?
No, not like the Twitter account. You have
There's nothing on my Instagram.
Yeah.
I think the last thing I had posted up until my hole-in-one, humble brag hole-in-one, bitch, I got 3.
Yeah. Act like you didn't know.
Yeah, and then Jay Delsing texts me and goes, I have 20.
Jesus, that's insane.
And like 5 albatrosses. Anyway, it was us me and my wife on a boat with Lisa Ann, the same trip in which you shared a bed with her.
Right. Boy, I had a lot of boat drinks on that trip.
You did have a lot of boat drinks. Wore a yellow diaper.
Yeah. I was really in my own there.
Yeah. You were in a
felt
good
like
place.
a star. Well, I mean, Mizzou beat Iowa State.
And you were in a good place because of that.
And then on the way home, they beat LSU. It was great.
So, yeah, my Instagram is dormant. What should I kick up? My Facebook, my Instagram, or my Twitter?
You should just start tweeting threads of things that you're basically copy and pasting from the internet.
Is that what goes on?
Oh, I saw one yesterday.
Really?
Too.
What is this?
God, it was like nutrition facts the big food companies don't want you to know, and it was like
Asian farming season.
It was like something you pulled out of a 9th grade health book. It was like prioritize protein. I was like, okay.
I do think that has been one of the most. I didn't realize this till I occasionally will see pictures like pop up in memories from a decade ago.
Sure.
I was skinny fat.
That's where I was. Yeah.
I guess you kind of thought you felt that way, but I didn't think of you as heavy until you said you lost like 25 pounds.
Yeah. That's skinny fat's a real thing because if you've always had like a thinner build and you add on some, it's probably almost always like beer weight or just not eating great.
I just ate terribly.
Right. Or like soda can be like a real easy way to start packing it on.
A gram of protein approximately at each pound you weigh is a good target for every day. And once I knew that, and I didn't know it till 2016, it kind of like changed the deal.
Yeah.
And then I started lifting more. Then I have the slap tear. That's a shoulder labrum tear, Jackson, to you. And here I am battling through it.
Flaherty has the same thing.
That's right. But I've had a better.
Yeah.
Thank you.
You guys are both so beloved in St. Louis.
Who's hated more here, me or Jack Flaherty?
I might have to give the nod to Flaherty on that one.
Yeah. So, yeah, there's a little tip. Droid Effects says, I'm going golfing for the first time ever. I need a tip? Okay. All right. I'll do golf tips today. Is that what we're going to do?
Yeah.
Are we going to treat the Matthew Liberatore start like it's the second coming, or the Braves just want to get out of here after winning game 1? You be the judge. I'll do that. I'll do it. I can do either one. You want golf tips, or we're going to exaggerate the Liberatore start?
The man asked.
Is that the number one? Is that topic one on get Piddles or die trying? What the hell it is?
Today's pack of questions, Tim, of course, is hope for the best, prepare for the Piddles.
Oh, I like that.
Thank you. That is not the lead question. I do have a question about that, but I honestly wasn't planning on getting to it.
Really? But you just said I have a question about it. Oh, because it's like question 6?
No, it's question 2, but I preface
Is
it.
question 1 that good that it was going to send me?
No, but it's much more, I think, being off a week, I think this is a better question to lead off.
Ooh, color me intrigued. And I was about to do a golf tip for Droid Effects.
Right. I prefaced the Liberatore question I have with get ready to feel the wrath of my rights holder merit badge sash. So I'm self-aware, at least.
I've just been betting on the Cardinals every game. I throw what is a unit size for me, which is a rounding error for you.
That's right. Yeah.
And I'm just every game, just like
26-13 since Mother's Day.
So it's profitable.
Big time.
Bet Scheffler to win the Travelers. Yeah, and he was plus money on Sunday morning.
That's getting to a point of like
just rolling it up every night. Bet on the Cardinals. Just bet on the Cardinals. That's what I'll do. Mm-hmm. So yeah, I guess I broke even yesterday because they were plus money in each game, so I didn't have to pay the juice. Yeah.
There
you go.
They were certainly plus money in that first.
Right. Effects. I'm going to be very, very intricate here. This is, I'm actually talking to Jackson, but I'll act like I'm talking to Droid Effects.
Yeah.
I'm taking it away. You watch it on YouTube. I'm taking it away. Mm-hmm. Now, as I go back, I feel like I'm not stopping. I feel like I'm tossing a ball in the air because that's my transition. That's how it you feel. And then as I come down, I'm smashing the ball into the ground. These are for my irons. It's a different swing on driver. Why? We're going to compress the golf ball. It's going to be a more piss rocket trajectory.
Yeah, Burleson style.
Burleson style. We'll tie it into the Cardinals because I want to talk sports. Talk sports. Why? I don't like the show on from 10 to 11. They don't talk sports.
They all sound like a Bugs Bunny character.
Piss rocket off the golf club. Yeah. We need you to compress it. I don't need the club face open. I don't need you to sweep at it. Let's hit the ground. Piss rockets. It's piss rocket season around here.
Yeah, it's dry too, so keep it low.
Ball's going to fly. Let's keep it low.
Yeah.
So we're going up, we're tossing the ball up, and then as we come down, we're smashing the ball down. Belly button at the target. Don't be scared.
Yeah. Finish your swing.
There you go. Now you're ready to shoot 4 under.
That's right.
My swing thought is Tim is hot. That's from the Hunchback of On Castle.
It's better to have a swing thought that's totally BS like that.
Whoa! Whoa!
in terms of like
Whoa!
having nothing to do with the golf swing.
Whoa!
I prefaced this segment by saying you have that sports radio glow, so I feel like
I'm
that
pregnant.
supersedes. Yeah, of course. Remember when I was being accused of being pregnant by some guy? Said I was pregnant with someone's kid. That was a wild time in balloon party lore. But like having a swing thought that's totally not about the golf swing, just something that take your mind off it. Honestly, is probably better. And if that's Tim is hot, then
if that works for you,
yeah,
then,
totally.
Then there you go. OMG, I'm standing with the instruction. That's from Droid Effects.
Good. I just imagine a bunch of guys at their cubicle
standing,
working on their swing.
Yep.
What's going on?
It.
10 to 11.
All right, Jackson has, what is this again one more time?
Hope for the best, prepare for the piddles.
And question one apparently is...
It's not like ground shattering in terms of like the thought I put into it, but I think it's a...
you think it's going to get me going?
It's a good way to return to...
Come back like Jordan wearing the 4-5. It ain't to play games with you. It's to aim at you, probably maim you. If I own you, I'm blowing you to smithereens, and then I can't say the next word. Be offensive. Take one for the team.
We were talking on TMA.
I remember one thing. I came, I saw, I conquered. From record sales to sold-out concerts, and then I can't use the next word.
Right.
Podcast, I could.
Yeah.
I'm freed up there. FCC can't get me there.
Yeah, we were talking on TMA, like famous people you've seen at places, and saw Hove at the booth next to me at the Rams game.
Really?
Yeah, like probably one of the last home games I went to was against the Lions.
He went to the ketchup mustard game against Jameis's famous?
Missed that one. That was a glorious one. But no, it was like the second to last home game, I want to say, against the Lions. He was there to watch Todd Gurley, who had just signed to Rockefeller.
That's right. And the Rams drafted
Rock
in
Nation.
anticipation of their first year in Los Angeles, since he wasn't going to be able to do much last year in St. Louis. Amazing. All right, Jackson, this is a big question coming up. It's a lot of buildup.
Now I know. I'm drawing the ire.
Absolutely. All right, ladies and gentlemen, this is Balloon Party. It's 101 ESPN.
Get a free quartz countertop from St. Louis Kitchen and Bath with purchase of cabinets and installation. stlouiskb.com.
Munganess, St. Louis Acura, Munganess, Burkhardt, Alton Toyota. Jackson, the plane lands yesterday afternoon at Lambert International Regional Airport. And the first thing I did, said, we got to go to Munganess, St. Louis Acura. I miss it that badly. Also had to pick up a loaner car because our cars are getting fixed from hail damage. But either way, I went there in the service department. We've been working with Ryan Seiberg there at Munganess, St. Louis Acura for the last week or so on the hail damage situation to both my car and my wife's car. And it was just so seamless, so easy. First-class operation. I cannot say enough positive things about the people I have gotten to know at Munganess, St. Louis Acura and Munganess, Burkhardt, Alton Toyota. And you can do business with them as well. And once you do, I just don't know if you're going to go anywhere else. I'm so thrilled with my experience over the last 6 or 7 years been working with them. Online at stlouisacura.com or go online at altontoyota.com.
Save big money at Menards and tame your landscape with 80-volt outdoor power equipment from Masterforce. Designed with power and performance in mind, you can now maximize your productivity with a new Flex Connect system. Quickly switch from different Flex Connect attachments like the hedge trimmer, pole saw, string trimmer, edger, and more to turn the power of one tool into multiple. Kickstart your project today with Masterforce at Menards and see the rest of our deals on Menards.com.
Save big money at Menards.
Welcome back, Balloon Party 101 ESPN. Jackson has been building up this question for a week. I can't wait to hear it. I love when you light a fire. So, ladies and gentlemen, I produced you Jackson Bennett Burkett.
Oh, this is going to be a whole thing. All right. Well, I got to sometimes dive into the pool. As we sit just 2 games shy of the halfway point of the MLB season, I want you to assess the 2 biggest surprises and the 2 biggest disappointments with the 2024 St. Louis Cardinals. For both, how does that impact the stuck in neutral mindset it seems the Cardinals are deploying?
Well, I like this question. I do like this question.
Thank you.
I do like this question.
50-50 ball, to be honest.
I'm looking forward to doing Balloon Party, and I'm looking forward to doing TMA.
Yep.
To be able to work in my hometown and do this stuff for a living. Grateful as the day is long. Yep. And whenever the day comes, and I know many of you will be celebrating whenever the day comes, when they put the bullet in my head, it still won't take away from the fact that I got to work in my hometown and do this for 20 plus years. However, if the first thing I would have heard on Balloon Party today is we're going to sit here and participate in a circle manual stimulation session over Matthew Liberatore's start when the Braves wanted to get out of town after a doubleheader, I was going to have to come correct.
I hear that.
Okay? Yeah. So that's why, in addition to just enjoying the question, I appreciate this question. 2 biggest disappointments? I'm going to text them to you to make sure we're on the same page.
Right. We're on the same page. I was considering.
So you already know what I'm going to say.
Right, but I was thinking maybe we could consider them as a joint package and then have another one. Otherwise, it's too easy.
Goldschmidt or not? Okay.
Yeah, absolutely. So we'll call the corner infield as one because it's so obvious.
I would say Jordan Walker.
Yeah, that's another.
That's a major situation because even though. You know, I guess what you do on social media is you go, where are all the haters now if they win? Right. And then if they lose, you go, where are the people who are saying, you do that.
Yep. Prisoner in the moment.
Yeah. And I'm not into it. And if that's where our industry is going, that's fine. I'll doff my cap. That was good. 20 years. It was wonderful. You guys can do the overreact each night to a baseball game. Can't do it. Right. Jordan Walker, however, is not a let's react one night, let's react to one game. This is a problem. This was the potential cornerstone for the franchise from the mid-20s into the 30s, and they, on an offense that can't get guys across the plate when, they have opportunities with runners in scoring position, he's still in Memphis. Problem. Big problem. Big problem, because that isn't just about this year and a team that I would think, even if you're one of the people who likes to yell at people when the Cardinals win, that's your source of joy when a baseball team wins, as you go yell at people on social media or on sports talk radio. If that's your thing, hey, I don't kink shame, and if that's your kink, that's good. Some people like pumps. You like yelling at strangers with dog avatars in Scripture.
Right. Whatever blows your hair back.
That's what I say. We don't kink shame when we're pro-freedom. But as far as assessing this team, I cannot imagine even the rights holderiest of rights holders would go, this is a great baseball team. I would imagine we can agree on that.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, that's not directed to you. I'm just saying I would imagine even the person who like was to argue about whether or not the Cardinals are good, whatever it is, would agree with that because we have seen great baseball teams here. And some of them didn't do well in the postseason. And I'm talking about over the last quarter century, not even going back to 80s, 90s, 60s. This is not one of those. The weird thing, though, is that at least one of those, and maybe two of them, are the ones who've won the last 2 world championships.
Right.
So that's the weird spot that baseball creates. Because I don't think you can win. We just saw Matthew Tkachuk and the Florida Panthers win the Stanley Cup. I don't think you can have a team win 16 games in the Stanley Cup playoffs, which is essentially like another third of a season.
Yeah, for real.
You know? When you do the math, the Blues played 26 games in 2019, play 82 over the regular season, played 26 games. This isn't like a, little NCAA tournament type of one-off thing. I don't think that you can have a team win the Stanley Cup and go, where the hell did they come from? Now, they might wind up being one of the higher seeds, and by higher, I mean like 7 or 8 seed. We've seen that, but you can see the makeup of it. From my standpoint, I don't see this as being a great team. What is going on right now in baseball is there aren't a lot of great teams.
I was just about to ask you.
And in particular in the National League, there really aren't a lot of great teams. You know, I mean, it's going on across the game. The National League is...
There might be 2.
Yeah, the
Dodgers and Phillies.
Yeah, because the Braves are not what the Braves
they're beat up.
were going into the season.
Yeah, they're beat up.
Obviously.
I don't even think the Yankees are a great team at this point.
I don't know how the Yankees are going to navigate.
It's kind of
But record-wise, it's there. Either way, taking that all out of the, if we can operate on that as a truth, even though of course it's subjective, if we can operate that on a truth, then why would I be optimistic? Is that what the question? Like the 2 things that would be considered disappointment? Are we saying the 2 things that to date have been negatives?
Yeah, the 2 biggest disappointments at this point in the season.
Okay, so Jordan Walker to me is because I went into the season, liked the offseason because I was viewing the offseason differently. Didn't like the offseason, like, oh yeah, this team's going to kill it. I'm like, I think they're in a spot. They're managing it as best they can. And then as far as the team goes, I'm just like, yeah, it's an 81 to 85, I think is what I said, win team. That's what I thought it would be. And I think they're on pace for 83 wins now, or 83 and a half.
Something like that. Yeah.
Which could certainly, 84 wins, I think it's a wild card. But I think the Diamondbacks won 83 last year, something like that.
Yeah.
And they won the pennant.
Yep.
So in the 83 Cardinals, or 2006 Cardinals won 83 games and they won the World Series. So with that all established, the positives from it, I think there are a number of them. It's just for the most part, they're on one side of the diamond, and that would be what you've gotten from Helsley has been absurd.
Yeah.
The bullpen, I don't want to say as a whole, but that core.
Yeah.
Sonny Gray, for the most part, has been either dominant or really good. He has a weird floor, though, for as dominant as he can be. And I know this because he's on my fantasy team, Southside Seaman. Hunter Green, Cincinnati Reds.
Yep.
I think it was last night or 2 nights ago. He had a terrible start. He has those. But he hadn't I think he hadn't taken a loss since April 20th. Sonny Gray seems like he has them like, I don't know. They're just more frequent for as dominant as he can be. That's odd. That isn't usually the way that it works. Of course, Zach Wheeler's on my team as well, and he'll get blown up once every 6 weeks or so. That's a weird thing. To me, the biggest positive, I wouldn't say this is a reason why the Cardinals would make the playoffs per se, as in the top reason, is Mason Wynn. And I put him in the same category with Walker and Wynn because I'm looking beyond this year because I don't think that this is a great baseball team.
Right.
It doesn't mean I don't think they can win the World Series, which really sounds weird.
Right.
I realize how weird that sounds. You couldn't say that in the 1980s. In the 2000s, in particular 2020s, you absolutely can, and that's why I bitch every show about the baseball playoff format. But if you're looking beyond 2024, Mason Wynn's development this year, especially considering the offensive performance in August and September of last year when he made his debut, Mason Wynn's defense, that is the thing that excites me the most.
Yeah.
Jordan Walker concerns me the most. And both those things are well beyond 2024 excitement levels and then concern levels. So that's how I would answer your wonderful question, Jackson.
Thank you.
What would you say to these questions?
So I would say, looking just at 2024, if you could imagine when we talk about those two biggest disappointments, when you talk about the corner infielders, Goldie and Arenado, and then Jordan Walker, if you could just get one of those things to get right, even to a slight, like if Walker was having like a Gorman-like season where he's striking out a ton, but he's hitting bombs, or if you can get 75% of the career averages or 80% of the career averages out of both Goldie and Arenado, think how much, like, we might be looking at a team that's really, really good. Maybe not great,
I would agree
but
with that.
really, really
the
good.
The thing that I have a tough time with, but at the same time, I look at the 2011 Cardinals, and they didn't have a good rotation.
Yeah.
They had a guy.
And
then they had three guys that Tony La Russa would pull like after they threw a ball by the time the NLCS rolled around. That I just don't, what I've seen recently, teams tend to have a 1-2 killer situation in the rotation.
Yeah.
Which is why the Phillies have, had the kind of, and now they have multiple beyond what they had before. So I just don't know where that is. And then if you want to look forward and go, okay, the trade deadline, I don't know who the Cardinals realistically have that they're going to be able to get the guy who becomes the B to Sonny Gray's A, unless you're operating on the premise that somebody who's on the roster can be the B to Sonny Gray's A. And I don't see it that way.
Yeah, no one like you could say Michaelis, but obviously he's had his issues. You could say Gibson.
He has pitched well.
Michaelis has been great.
He's pitched well recently in particular. He's pitched well.
This whole run where they've been, since Mother's Day basically, Michaelis has been rock solid. Gibson too. But do you have the confidence in October for those guys to be, like you're saying, like we were talking like Zach Wheeler and Aaron Nola? Like that's just not going to probably be the case. Usually the way the games are played in October. I mean, Kyle Gibson has been good. Yesterday he was not good. I mean, it wasn't like, oh God, we got to pull him in the second inning bad. But I mean, he was 4 innings and 4 earned runs. Yeah, going up against one of the best pitchers in the league. So he didn't get it done yesterday, but overall, yeah. But there's serviceable and there's winning you a game in October in which most likely you're facing another A or B starter. Is he going to be able to match up? And if you're going to get there, you're going to have to navigate the Dodgers offense or the Phillies offense. You know what I mean? Yeah, so not even to mention their pitching, That's where you get into a different conversation, right? Right. So I like the question, though. It's a great question. Yeah. I mean, if you take a step back, Mason Wynn to me is, and by the way, as great as Helsley's been, I hope like hell they trade him. I got a question about that coming up here in just a moment, Tim. And it's not, I dislike Helsley. I just think this is the closer on Major League Baseball team is the running back on an NFL team. And you need to optimize the value when you can. And there are teams that would love, what team wouldn't want to have Ryan Helsley right now? You'd be hard pressed to find. The topic that goes is Goldschmidt and trading him. I don't know. You're not going to get much, is what I would tell you. Essentially paying for 6 weeks of a guy who's way out of his prime, it seems. But Helsley that's an asset. I got Helsley could be a guy firing the final pitch in a World Series. It's just quite unlikely it's going to be in St. Louis. Make it clear, though, it's absolutely possible, but that is the kind of asset that you can actually really start to build with. And so from that, now, let me make it clear, I'm not expecting them to trade him unless things go awry. The Cardinals are in the second wild card spot. I still don't think they view the Brewers as insurmountable. They fell off, and then they won 4 in a row. So the Cardinals are 6 back of them. But the thing is, even if the Cardinals, you know exactly where I'm going with this, even if the Cardinals were to win the division, they're probably not going to get the bye anyway. So they're in the same spot as the wild cards. So And again, where you need that two-head monsters, especially in those
Best of
short,
threes.
yeah,
That's
those
right.
short
We saw
series.
with Wheeler and Nola here in 2022. All right, your
have
thoughts are welcome. 314-399-9646, Air Comfort Service text line, and of course the YouTube chat. This is Balloon Party 101 ESPN. James Carlton of the Carlton State Farm Insurance Agency is my insurance agent, and I would like for him to become yours as well. He's online at carltoninsurance.net, or you can call 314-961-4800 and work with James and his team. Don't believe me? You say I'm just doing a spot, so I don't really mean what I say. Well, that would be disappointing. But fine, you don't believe me. Fair enough. Then how do you explain the 374 five-star reviews that James has on Google? That is not something that I would take the time to do. To create 374 burners so I can rave about James Carlton. We're in the middle of working with James Carlton right now. Talked about that hail damage that we have and are getting repaired at Munganast. Well, the claim was filed with James Carlton, and they've been on top of everything. No surprise. They're doing everything. It's great. It's so wonderful to know that you can work with somebody who is going to take care of things, no questions asked. That's what I have with James Carlton, and that's what I would love for you to have as well. 314-961-4800 or go online at carltoninsurance.net.
But hey, this is Action Jackson with a Sports Center update. That's driven by Johnny Wandel Chevrolet. and Johnny Londoff Autoplex. The Cardinals split the doubleheader yesterday with the Braves, lost the first game 6-2, won the second game 4-1. Cardinals will take on the Reds again. To start a 4-game weekend series tonight in St. Louis. 6:45 is your first pitch. Miles Michaelis on the mound for the Cardinals. And Jefferson City native OG Anunoby is signing a 5-year, $212 million contract with the Knicks just days after trading for Mikal Bridges. Villanova back in the building. That was their SportsCenter update driven by Johnny Londoff Chevrolet and Johnny Londoff Autoplex. See them at londoff.com. Chevy, together we drive. Are you kidding me?
All I want to do is break down that SportsCenter update, frame by frame, like we're going over the Zapruder film.
There's a lot wrong.
I mean, what was going on there?
Nailed the Cardinal one. It was a little late to the party. It was a little late to get into it. Well, I had to find my earbud. One of my earbuds, Tim, is no longer producing audio out of it. And I haven't really said anything about it just because,
Because you're a pro.
We'll never let them know you're hurt.
Right.
But I figured that this would be a good time for the excuse
to let them know you're hurt.
Exactly. And while OG Anunoby did go to high school in Jefferson City, he is, of course, a London native.
Of course.
Right.
I think the audience knew that.
British basketball players. It's pretty rare. So him and Ben Gordon. But so I was accurate on the numbers, but then I just kind of fumbled through it. I'm rusty. It's been a week, Let me get back. Tomorrow you'll see a better version.
Little Jackie.
Yes.
I'm so impressed that you haven't taken this segment to rant about the NBA draft. I assumed you would be smiling like a schoolgirl that got her first kiss. Are you okay? Did Tim touch you in a no-no spot? It's in the 618.
No to all of the above. I don't. Drafts in general don't really. That's a Take Smith's paradise, a Take Smith's oasis.
Oh, it is.
Is drafts.
Yeah, you're right, because you can't be proven wrong, and you can scream.
Yeah, and then once they replay you crapping on them, you're like, well, I didn't have that much information. It's always just, well, where was that self-awareness?
Take Smith's paradise. Boy, I like that.
That's the truth. So I don't really go nuts about drafts because it doesn't really... look at every draft in any sport. The guy who's picked in the early second round or late first round ends up being the best player. It's kind of more rare for the number one pick to be by far the best player in any draft.
John Fitzgerald in the YouTube chat says, oh no, Jackson has pulled a radio hamstring. One of his earpieces is out. I wonder if this will be a 6 or 8 week injury. Johnny Fitzgerald.
Looking pretty 4 to 6 to me.
You're going to be 4 to 6 out?
No, I'm good. We'll get a little walking competition if we have to.
Jackson, has Piddles been in South Florida partying with Bo Broski the past few days?
I haven't, but I've seen some of the videos. Look like they're having a grand old time.
Boys are having some time.
Yeah, elbow room. I was like,
elbow room. You been elbow room?
No.
It's right there on the beach in Lauderdale.
I have a friend.
Lottie-dottie.
Yeah. I have a friend who works in the Dolphins organization. And is friends with some people, and no, I wish, some friends of some people in the Panthers organization. They were at the elbow room taking some video, and it looked like the boys were having a good time.
I bet they were.
Went to the ocean with the cup. I like
so
that.
Matthew Tkachuk
Big fan of that.
Did you watch Game 7?
I watched the entire thing, Tim.
Oh, my gosh.
I watched the entire thing.
You and Jamie Rivers, were you showing him what the Oilers were trying to do?
I was texting Marshy Marsh throughout because Marshy was going to be on TMA the next day.
Right.
And I told him when he filled in last Friday, when you were off on TMA, that if the Oil are able, if they dragged him back to Alberta, if they're able to win Game 6 in Alberta, I will watch the entirety of Game 7.
And you did?
And I'm a man of my word.
And did you enjoy it?
The first 10 minutes were about as good as anything I've ever seen, in sports. That was outstanding. And then the last 8 minutes were, nerve-wracking.
Intense.
Even though I have no rooting interest.
The Oil were on fumes.
Yeah, God, that was tough to watch because they had. I don't think Connor McDavid. I think he came out one time in the third period. They were all gassed towards the end.
It's just the best.
Yeah.
And I'm not saying next on the Blues station. People hate me anyway. It's just there's just nothing like it, and I don't know why there's nothing like it. And the reality is everything's like it. It's not like the World Series is lesser than, or the NBA Finals are lesser than, or the Super Bowl. It's just that trophy, I thought the cutaway, what a great job by ESPN. The cutaways, the Tkachuk family.
Yep.
To have Walter and Brady, one guy's still trying to get it, and one guy had a hell of a career and never did. And the emotion of that, that's just there's just something about it. And listen, I was pulling for the Oilers, not because I'm like anti, it's just, whatever. I'm romanticizing a Canadian team winning. I think it'd be good for the game if McDavid started to have that he's 1-1 cachet.
Yep.
I think it'd be good for the NHL.
Something about that third period, too, down 1 goal. It's like, this is where Connor
this
McDavid
is where
makes
he's
a
going to be.
statement.
Yeah, it just at the end, you could just tell they were. It was like, it's like watching a video game where you knew that the team was gassed. It just sucked. Yep. It just was. It wasn't going to be like, okay, they got 30 seconds, one last rush. It's like they can't even make it into their zone.
No, they pulled their goalie, and as soon as they did, they turned it over.
So with that all established, I was thrilled to see the Tkachuk family, Matthew, win it. And hell, maybe that is. I mean, it's immediately where things turn to. Is this the start of a dynasty? But they were there last year. They just lost to the Golden Knights. So maybe it is. But God, I mean, Paul Maurice, as you know, the Blues went through Paul Maurice in 2019.
When he was coaching Winnipeg?
Of course. You said that with such confidence. I can't imagine anybody wouldn't think you knew that.
Jaden Schwartz? He had a big goal in Game 5, didn't he?
For the Blues.
Yeah. Number 17 on your sweater, number 1 in your hearts.
Nicely done.
Feeling
really
good.
nice.
Feeling really good.
Things are starting to happen for you.
After watching one hockey game. I told Marsh this. I said, I love everything about hockey right up until we get to the gameplay. The actual gameplay.
The kamikaze mission is on again.
You lose me on the gameplay, but I love the folklore behind the sport. Never let your sweater touch the ground, never step on the logo, don't touch the cup until you win it. I like the hockey culture. All the guys I've always known who played hockey are great guys. It's just once they start playing the actual game is where you lose me.
You're not into the game.
Yeah. I tweeted out something where I was like, I might have been wrong about hockey.
Take?
No, I just tweeted as a joke. I was like, I might have been wrong about this whole hockey thing. And people were like going nuts. They were like, and I had like the Jason Williams top 45 plays loaded up on my phone. I was like, this still exists. So let's take it easy. All right.
Well,
people should watch that and just tell me that's not as good as it gets.
Taunt. God, yeah, but Paul Maurice, head coach of the Panthers.
Super cool to see him win.
The interviews. He's just
raising the chalice mid-interview.
That
was awesome.
But the interview on TSN, did you see that by chance?
Mm-mm.
I mean, it just, he was able to do with his words on the ice in the seconds after those seconds ticked down before winning the chalice. What I would imagine damn near any and every player who has ever gotten to hoist that cup wanted to do, which is pay the respects to his parents, to pay the respects to his hometown, and the selflessness of those comments in that moment. And then the thing that I was just like, oh my God. And he goes, I have gotten everything now. Because if there's one thing I could get that I could ask for, it'd be that the Winnipeg Jets win the next one.
I saw that.
And I'm just like, oh, this guy.
Yeah.
I mean, I know they love him, and I think they love him in Manitoba as well. But in South Florida, for you to get attention as a hockey coach in South Florida, it isn't easy to do.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not exactly front page stuff when the Panthers play a game. When, I mean, number one, there's just life to live there. But number two, you have the Dolphins, and you have the U, and you have the Heat. And then, of course, don't get me wrong, the atmosphere at the Marlins Park.
Yeah.
But they love him down there. And those interviews that he was doing and has been doing. I was listening to Scott Van Pelt's podcast on my way here today. And he was talking about there was a moment where he was about to start the interview with him. And he just, looked up and exhaled. And SVP said he remembers seeing Dabo Swinney do the same thing after they beat Alabama to win the national championship. And he goes, it was the moment where it just hit him. And we happened to see it when it just hit him. And Dabo goes, yeah, this is the first time I've been alone to actually take it in.
Yeah.
And for Paul Maurice, who coached the Hartford Whalers, I mean, that's how long he goes back and how many games to get that. And then the emotion as he's lifting it, and he's MFing the cup while he's lifting it.
I like that.
That was just the best. He's like, this is the thing I've been chasing. I've been chasing her for a long time, and I had some things I wanted to get off my chest.
Yep.
It's the greatest. But to call back, as he is a man, I would guess in his late 50s, that'd be my guess.
Yeah, working 30 years in hockey.
Yeah. His parents because the tie that binds for hockey players, and I'm not saying the game's better, I can't skate, but I've experienced it just a little bit with my 6-year-old, is the tie that binds, and maybe it plays a role in why there is the demeanor amongst hockey players, is because in order to be able to play the game, most likely you had to spend a lot of time with your parents getting up early or staying up late to get to your ice time. And so the parents are heavily involved. The sacrifices that were made, both financially, because it's not an inexpensive game to play if you're not living on a frozen pond, and also as far as the time and the sacrifice. And so in that moment, to not only be grateful, but to express the gratitude to his parents for their name now being on that cup, just the absolute best. God, I loved it. It's just, it's the greatest. And it got sick ratings.
Yeah, it did. 7.7 million.
Yeah.
Best for any hockey Stanley Cup final in 5 years.
Since Laissez Note.
Yeah. Wow. That is awesome. That was great to see. I truly did enjoy watching the game.
And Chaminade,
a week apart, was doing it big. Great to see. It's super cool.
Your thoughts on it, 314-399-9646. YouTube chat, welcome as well. This is Balloon Party 101 ESPN. Welcome back. Balloon Party 101 ESPN. Tim McKernan, Jackson Burkett with you. Final segment. Jackson Bennett Burkett has prepared a series of questions. I just got into the Stanley Cup final and talking about Paul Maurice and the Panthers and the Kachuk family there. So I took away some great questions from getting air here today, and I'd like to apologize to you, Jackson.
Oh, I love when you do that because then I can take some of them for the 6-shooter tomorrow.
All right, fair enough. What do you got?
I want to talk about this Ryan Helsley thing I kind of teased earlier.
Okay.
So there's a really cool article today in The Athletic about the sustainability of pitchers throwing 100-plus mile an hour. The long and short of it is pitchers who throw it are super effective, but that effectiveness has a very quick shelf life. The most interesting nugget was, and this is a direct quote, MLB pitchers already have exceeded 100 miles per hour nearly 400 more times in 2024 than they did in all of 2014. Over the past 10 seasons, MLB hitters have slugged 280 on pitches of at least 100 miles per hour. That's 10 points worse than Adam Wainwright's career slugging percentage as a hitter. Given the risk of injury and sustainability, do you think it would behoove some pitchers to consider slowing the velo down at some point, like Jordan Hicks, and focus on location and spin? And second, hearing all of this, do you think no matter what their standing is, should the Cardinals truly consider moving Helsley at the deadline for some power in the outfield or whatever need they may have?
The sustainability, that doesn't surprise me. I would imagine that isn't surprising to you. Am I correct?
No.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, yes. I would absolutely trade him. I absolutely would. I also know they're not going to. I mean, at least I don't think they're going to. I've been around this so long now that it would just shock me if any article that I have read about the trade deadline, and my God, they start writing about the trade deadline in May. It's the strangest thing. It's like the presidential election. You know, the week after the election, they'll be writing about 2028.
Now you're taking a shot at Lenardi's bracketology.
I am taking a shot at this stupid-ass business that I made a mistake to major in 1994. That's what I'm taking a shot at. But overall... yeah, I would, if I'm the Phillies, if I'm the Dodgers, then I'm going, okay, let's go get them. Otherwise, it's just such a weird spot. Can they win the World Series? They absolutely can. I think the Pittsburgh Pirates have a better chance of winning the World Series than the Cardinals do. As weird as that might sound. But again, it's about the ceiling of the pitching staff. That, to me, is what usually, there are exceptions. The 2011 Cardinals would absolutely be an exception. Chris Carpenter being the variable, but it was Jaime Garcia, it was Kyle Lohse, it was Edwin Jackson, and they're all major league pitchers, and all of them had a great long run at the major league level and made, maybe not Garcia, but Jackson and Lohse, were in so long that they made a hell of a lot of money. So this isn't disparaging to them, but relative to the caliber of pitchers who usually lead teams in the postseason, that's not what the Cardinals have. And so analyzing it through that lens, I just don't see it. But that's not where this organization is, and that's not how this organization behaves unless all of a sudden they decide, okay, we're going to pivot. I just don't see that being it. All of the articles that I've read on the trade deadline have talked about the Cardinals being a buyer for at least one pitcher. And hey, listen, I loved what they did in the 22 deadline. I did not see Jordan Montgomery coming. Had been a fan of his, felt like he was a guy who was kind of misused with the Yankees, and I was stunned to see that, especially for giving up Harrison Bader. Loved the deal. So maybe something's coming that I don't see happening. And then all of a sudden you go, okay, you got Sonny Gray and you got this guy, and maybe Goldschmidt and Arenado find it a little bit.
Boy, that'd be lovely.
And Jordan Walker finds it a little bit, but I just feel like we're asking for things that are most likely not necessarily in the offing. So that's where my perspective is, Jackson.
I like the
Do
perspective.
with it what you want. It's 10:59. We got to go. Ladies and gentlemen, BK and Ferrario are coming up next for Jackson Bennett Burkett. I'm Tim McKernan. This has been Balloon Party on 101 ESPN.
Munganess, St. Louis Acura, Munganess, Burkhardt, Alton, Toyota, presenting sponsor of Balloon Party on 101 ESPN and the 101 ESPN YouTube channel. Go online to go shopping at stlouisacura.com, or you can go online to go shopping at altontoyota.com and work with Jamie Burkhardt, work with Peter Munganess. And if you need to get your car serviced, like me and my family are doing right now, getting it repaired from hail damage, work with Ryan Seiberg and that great service department team at Munganess. St. Louis Acura, Munganess, Burkhardt, Alton, Toyota. Plus, they have a deal right now, no money down, on a 2024 Acura MDX Premium, $589 a month for a 48-month lease, and you're driving an incredible car from Munganess. It's stlouisacura.com, it's altontoyota.com, and they have a secret number that's specific for our listeners, and that number is 314-252-0029. It's Munganess, stlouisacura.com, and altontoyota.com.